G'day fellas. Today we're going to be looking at the Chinese Deathball. Now I know a lot of you might be a little bit disappointed to hear, unfortunately it's not a cuisine, it's a strategy for a fast fortress, and it's for the Chinese, so that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So let's get straight into it. You'll see that I've been very careful to micro my explorer. I'm just putting enough damage onto that little treasure just to let my disciple kill him. So I've just given him the stun, and that's because I need to get down a TP immediately. So the TP that I'm going to be going for is the one furthest away from my opponent, so the one that's normally closest to me is the case. And the start of the Chinese game, it's a little bit harder just simply because of the way you need to macro. You've got to be really careful. You only start off with 2 food crates. So what we're doing is we're gathering up an extra 100 wood, but we need to be really careful that we don't idle our town center. It's okay if we do idle it because we're an Asian civilization and we build a wonder physically, so we're going to be having a constant villager production, but we should try and avoid it. So you can see here I've pulled my villagers off wood because I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it, and then from here I'm going to avoid going idle. So I'm just gathering up that extra wood so that I can have the 200 wood to place down my village, and I'm placing my village on the outside of my coin mine. So the village is the unique house for the Chinese, and your villagers or settlers are able to gather inside of it, just like an outpost would. Now, it can't shoot, but it's very strong in preventing raids or harassment. So normally you'd want to build them close to resources. They also provide a really, really high line of sight. So they're a really wonderful mechanic that you need to take advantage of. Don't build them all at the back of your base all close together, unless you're getting raided at the back of your base, in which case maybe build one back there. So the first card that we're shipping is going to be the equivalent of the 2 villager card. This card, if you've got 5 villagers, it will ship 5 villagers. So just being careful to distinguish between village and villager. I think I'll just use settler, just because it's less easy to be confused with that. So we get our 2 settler shipment in, and they've arrived nice and quick. It's about 2:15 that it arrived. And the reason why it's arrived that early is because we picked up that trading post and we got the first pass as well. And so from here on in, all we're doing is we're maintaining a constant stream of settlers from our town center, and we're going to continue looking for treasures. Ideally, what we're looking for are food treasures. If we can find food treasures, it's really going to help us out. We're going to be aging up faster because of that. So we do spot a food treasure over here, which our enemy has just started up for us. Now, even if this was a coin treasure, we'd still be going for this, because any treasure that you can deny your enemy, it works as a bonus towards you, and it's denied them something. Not only that, but it also demoralizes them. So think about it like, you know, if that's 100 wood, your opponent was going to be able to make something with that 100 wood. But now, not only have you denied them that 100 wood, you've taken that 100 wood for yourself. So it's almost like a net exchange of 200. Plus, throw in the demoralization value, and now you're looking at like 250 at least. So here we pick up 65 food, or with demoralization value, about 80 food. And we've got enough to age up. So with our age up, we're going for the Summer Palace. It can be a little bit confusing. Start with 1 settler, and then we're shifting over a further 3 settlers onto it. You want to start with 1 settler, because otherwise they're going to have a dance party on top of the foundation, and it's something you want to avoid. So that's normally the best thing to do. I'm also getting in more hunts. In the Definitive Edition, hunts are relentless. They just want to run away from you all the time. So make sure you're always herding your hunts, or at least always trying to herd your hunts. You can't forget about them, because if you do, like look at this instance, you know, it's 4 minutes and my hunt has already gone outside my line of sight, so I've got to do my best to try and bring it back. I'm going to be fighting with it all game. There's also a hunt to the north of my town center, which I'm doing the same with. So we've already picked up 2 shipments. It's 4 minutes 17 and the opponent has aged up, so he's playing British. So we can expect a little bit of pressure in age 2 from him, but not too much. We should be able to age up before we really start to experience any pressure. And we're starting up a treasure now, so when we're using the Chinese Explorer, we always want to auto-attack 1 creep, the closest creep to us, and then use our stun on the second one. That way we can get in a little bit more damage without taking too much damage ourselves. So we're about to hit transition. So as soon as we age up, we're going to be hitting the second age, and we're going to be shipping 700 coin, and we're going to be shipping 700 wood straight away. Now, the 700 wood is a bit of an optional shipment. Normally, you'll be sending it in optimal circumstances. So what are optimal circumstances? No enemy pressure. But there are situations where you wouldn't be shipping it. Say, for example, if you're against a German and you can see that they're doing some Age 2 pressure, maybe they've got a stable up and they're building Ulans, you might want to ship 9 pikes instead. And so here we can see I'm fighting with my herd to bring it back in. The settler AI has changed in the recent patch, and they're much more likely to just start killing herds. They're unpredictable. So we're moving our settlers now across to the food. We avoid picking up our food until we start getting closer towards our age up instead of picking it up straight away, because we're going to use these same settlers to pick up the coin. Once we hit that 300 coin mark, we're going to transition off from it, and then now we've hit the 300 coin mark, we're going to pick up all of our coin, and we should be able to seal our age up in just a little bit after the 6th minute. We're going to be taking the porcelain tower to age up. The porcelain tower in the fortress age is the equivalent of 8 settlers. So when we're plopping it down, we're doing the exact same thing, 1 settler, and then we're bringing everybody else over. So with the porcelain tower, you want to be going 8 villagers picking this bad boy up, or picking it up, 8 villagers building him. And now our wood has arrived. We're picking up our wood. With this wood, we're going to be building an extra village so that we can, so here goes down our village. We're going to be building a consulate. We're going to be building a war academy. And now because we picked up that wood treasure, it means that we've got a little bit of extra wood, so we can also build another village. Normally you'd only have 100 wood left over after building those 3 things, but because we've got that wood treasure, we've got enough to build the second village. In the event that we didn't have that wood treasure though, what we'd be doing is we'd be getting our porcelain tower to be on wood as soon as we get up, and it's going to start gathering at the equivalent rate of 4 settlers on wood. And we're going to keep it on wood for the remainder of the game, unless we ever really need to come off it. But ideally, you're never really going to come off it. And as a Chinese player, you're always just going to be having this influx of wood. And you know, we're already sitting on 24 settlers right now. We're going to be hitting the fortress age with the equivalent of 32 settlers. So we've got a massive economy. So we're going to be sending our consulate card from the home city, and we're going to be allying with the British. So this is going to provide us some significantly upgraded musketeers. So the musketeers are really, really strong for the Chinese, because the Chinese, not that they're lacking anti-cav, but they just don't really have that high quality anti-cavalry unit. And the musketeer serves as 2 purposes. The first is that it's a solid piece of your army that you can rely on, and second of all, it's anti-cavalry. So now what we're going to be doing is macroing for food and for gold. We're going to be aiming to be getting out the purple army. I don't know what it's called, but it's going to give us 3 Changdaos and 3 arquebuses. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And so that's going to be the foundation of our army. Now, in the event that the enemy begins to transition into some sort of light infantry only, then it means that we're going to be switching up to cavalry. And then, so from the home city now, we've got our second shipment in the fortress age, and we're shipping more skirmisher units, so the arquebuses. And from here, what we're doing is we're building up our mass. So the Chinese Deathball, the idea is that we really just want to sit in our base. We want to let the enemy come to us, and we're just building up our army the entire time. We've got plenty of population space because we've got our porcelain tower on wood, and so it means that we really don't have to worry about housing. We can always be building more houses. So a bit of miss micro here from really both of us. I think I'm a little bit too much focused on my economy, and my settlers or my units almost got killed. And here we see some more miss micro. So not the best game from either me or from Chopper. And he's just lost 3 cav as a result of this. So 3 cav in the early game, it's only 9 minutes. That's a huge amount of cav to lose. So that could really change the outcome of the game, because you got to remember, when you're in a fight, those 3 cav are 3 cav that would have been hitting the enemy the whole time. So we continue to add units to our Deathball, using our skirmishers to prod. So we're always going to be leading with our skirmisher units. And the reason why is because they've got the long range, and we're just going to be keeping our anti-cav very close behind, so that if that cavalry does come in, we're able to quickly switch it out. And so it's much of a micro battle when you're fighting in this combination. So we've got musket and skirmisher against musket hussar, or pike skirmisher against musket hussar. And so what we're trying to do is we're basically just trying to kill the cavalry here. We're using all of our units to kill the cavalry. We want to kill our cavalry before, or we want to kill the enemy cavalry before our skirmishers become exposed to it. And so we've been able to slow down the enemy's push. We've got quite a good mass that we've built up, which means we're almost able to one-shot the hussars. And what the muskets are trying to do is they're just trying to pick off the cav. Ideally, what Chopper needs to be doing is running his hussars around, trying to make sure that they're not taking as much damage as possible, and at the same time picking off my anti-cavalry. So here he's doing a really good job. He's picked up a whole bunch of anti-cav. I've got literally nothing left. I've got a single Changdao and a musketeer, so I've really got to run for my life here. But fortunately, we built our village, and there's the beautiful Changdao pop right on top of his hussars. It was something that he couldn't see, something he couldn't even expect. It was just timed perfectly. He walked right into it, and we baited him into it perfectly. And as a result of that decisive battle, it means that Chopper's got no choice but to resign. Overall, this build is an incredibly solid build, which will ensure that you remain dominant throughout the Fortress Age. It is, however, a little bit all-in, so it's important that you continue to make settlers as you continue fighting throughout the Fortress Age. If you're up against a civilization that isn't as aggressive as British or as Germans would be, don't be afraid to ship 1,000 wood and put up 2 town centers. With the Chinese economy, you're still able to maintain villager production while producing units. So it's important that you scout your enemy and you see what they're up to, as they might be doing something sneaky, like putting up an extra 2 or 3 town centers. You need to make sure that you either keep up with them or kill them quickly. On another note, if you're interested in seeing competitive games at the highest level, I encourage you to tune in this Sunday at 8 PM GMT to the ESOC Twitch channel, where together with Jailed, I will be casting a show match between Soldier and H2O. If you're keen to check it out, I've linked the ESOC Twitch channel in the description. Other than that, I hope that you've been able to take something away from this video. Thank you for watching.